Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, brothers and sisters. Welcome back to the afterschooldawah podcast. So I'm back here with my boys Saad and Tahmid. Assalamu alaikum,
Walaikum
lads.
assalam wa
Walaikum
rahmatullah.
assalam wa rahmatullah.
Let me just, I have a Coke can with me. Let me just open it and you guys can enjoy the sound of the face. I'll do it.
ASMR.
Hey.
I take a sip.
Oh.
The ASD ASMR.
Jeez. ASDMR.
Ah, nice. Bro, I always like the sound of every time you open a can, it's just so satisfying. Yo, like whenever you guys are around my house, innit? Like my mum doesn't say anymore, innit?
New house? Old house?
Yeah, old house. Like a few years back, innit? Whenever I'd say like man, because I'm like, yo man, or stuff like that, innit? My mum would be
Yeah.
like, yo, don't say, okay, she won't say, my mum would be like, don't say yo, don't say man, what are you, a gangster or something? I'm like, mom, yo isn't a bad word.
Like, for real, my dad would be the same, and then he started doing it himself.
Go, bro, your dad does it with us.
He knows he's not gonna change, so then he started doing
He's
it.
like, yo, if you can't beat him, join him, innit?
Exactly.
Yeah, my mom's like, don't say yo to your sister. I'm like, what? Because sometimes
it makes him feel
like I
proud.
call my sister bro in it. I'm like, yo, bro, pass me the remote. And my sister would be like, yo, why you call me bro? I'm like, bro, come
I'm
on.
your sister, bro.
Still that big of a
It's
deal,
like your
bro. It's
sister
fine.
calling you sis.
Yeah,
Imagine
yeah.
your sister calls you sis.
Yeah, that'd be
yeah.
weird. I don't know. It's like bro is very normal, innit?
Nah, even
Like-
like girls call each other bro, innit?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly, innit?
yeah.
It's like, it's kind of normal.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I do it like on like, let's say raw talk, innit? I'll
Yeah.
be like on the Zoom session or something, innit? And I'll call a sister bro, like someone I know, innit? Like if I know them.
Yeah,
I'll accidentally call them bro, but then it's
I
like
do
it's
that.
just because I'm used to that, innit?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
It's just like when you're trying to get on the level, when you're trying to make them, make them understand something, trying to get their attention.
Yeah,
more, just like,
exactly.
bro, listen.
Exactly.
Like, bro.
Like bro is that moment, innit? It's like, yo, bro, come on, man, relax.
Patriarchy, man.
Patriarchy, bro. Exactly,
It's all
bro.
about the patriarchy.
Bro, why is there
Shameful.
men in women?
Woman. Yeah, I know, right?
Exactly, bro.
SMH, bro.
Why is there E in sex? Okay, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that one.
Anyways, so
Oh wait, no, I
what's
remember. In France, yeah, obviously France, bro. It's not surprising.
France. Why do you say France?
In France, innit?
Mo has the word.
What do you mean? That's how they say it in their accent, innit? France.
Yeah, but you're not in.
Yeah,
there. You're
but
not
it's
French, are
respectful
you?
to say it in the accent of the actual place.
Imagine being
innit?
respectful to France, bro.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
true. I don't want to be respectful to freaking poo France.
France.
I mean, I just said it France as well. But
Exactly, man.
you gotta be
what,
saying it now,
Assad?
bro.
But yeah, anyway, over there in it, their word for I don't know if this is explicit or not in it. So if you don't
Mm.
want to hear it, then might skip forward. But the word vagina, yeah,
Mm.
is a masculine word.
Is it?
yeah. In
What?
French, is a masculine word.
What the heck?
Obviously, that means that
So wait,
yeah,
so that's weird.
Yeah.
So when there's no female variation for it.
no. Like the word itself is a masculine word.
That is so joke. Oh my days.
Yeah, and they talk about equality, women's rights.
forget
like yo,
that, man.
change your
Bruh.
freaking dictionary first,
That's
mate.
not the only thing.
Yeah, they have a lot of
That's
issues.
a mess.
A lot of issues.
The amount of laws they've just passed recently, have you seen?
Oh my
Yeah,
days.
man.
Crazy.
Bro, identification chips in children. Are you mad?
Bro,
I
honestly.
can't. No way that is. Nah, that's real.
I wouldn't be surprised, bro. I would not.
They actually
Yeah, I'm
went
not sure
forward
about
with
the
that.
identification chips. I haven't looked into that. Yeah, but even like, bro, like the Islamophobia in France is crazy. It's like, if you think about it, like, subhanAllah, I'm so happy that we live in the UK. Like, UK is actually probably the best place, like, even better than America when it comes to, like, Islamophobia and stuff like this, But even, like, in other places, other places around Europe, like, things like Islamophobia, it's covert, it's there, but it's sort of, like, behind the shadows, you get me, But in France, it's over. It's just like freaking the prime minister will just be saying it, like in in the media, like they don't care. They absolutely do not care, you know. And it's so stupid because they always advocate for, you know, human freedom. Yeah, they advocate for all these type of things, right? You know, everything to do with freedom. But then they like, oh yeah, you can't wear a scarf. Yeah, you can't wear niqab. You can't wear hijab. You know, at first it was the kids in it, like their daughters and stuff like that couldn't wear hijab and nothing like that. You know, and now it's like, bro, you can't even
slowly, obviously.
you can't even pray.
They're trying to do it one step at a time, and you can't go extreme first of all.
By the way,
slowly.
it's ID numbers. Every children will get an ID number.
Yeah.
What the,
Yeah. So it's not chips, but they'll get a flipping identification number. Which is mad. That's so mad. Like
what for?
I don't even know, man.
Bro,
I don't even
like
know.
honestly, man, wallahi, bro, I feel sorry for all the Muslims in France.
Same.
You know, like imagine, like it's so hypocritical, bro. Like, you know, at least, yeah, you know, like let's say certain countries in it or in the past or something, right? They'd have like, you know, a dictatorship, for example, yeah, where, you know, like in freaking North Korea or something, you can only have one haircut or something like that, yeah, like between 7 or something, like, you know, at least it's like, at least they're controlling everything for everyone, you know, equally, yeah. Over here it's like, yo, no, everyone else, literally everyone else can have freedom and express themselves whichever way they want, but Muslims, nah, they can't though, nah.
Yep.
And they literally they demonize, right, villainize Muslims, make them look horrible.
Bro, you know what's it's funny, right? Because the wording of their policies makes it seem like it applies to everyone, but the way they enforce it is the problem. They only enforce it for if you're black or you're Muslim. Like if you're dark skinned basically or you're Muslim, the law will get enforced a bit more. It's kind of similar to here, but it's much less, like it's not as bad here, right? And here you get the same issue with like the Met Police when some statistics came out a while ago, like a few months ago, where black people were like 80% more something more likely to be detained than white or Asian people. So it's the same principle. It's like the law will be the law is you'll be detained for blah blah blah, right? But it's more heavily enacted on certain groups of people. And in France it's the same issue where it's heavily enacted on Muslims and dark skinned people, and barely any other time it's not barely enacted at all on any other you know type of person.
It's very, very hypocritical.
Subtle racism.
It's very hypocritical,
you know?
I have a friend in France who goes like, if it wasn't for the fact she didn't wear hijab and looked European, she would have faced so much Islamophobia. Because she has friends obviously that are hijabis, and she just sees what they go through.
Yeah, I know someone. I know another sister in it. She went to France for I think 6 months or something in it, and bro, she told me her experience in France, and it was nasty, absolutely nasty. Right. Firstly, the place that she went to, because she had to stay with like a family or something, the first thing they said to her, like when she was going to like the Muslim areas in it, like, I hope you're not doing any ISIS stuff, you know?
Wow.
And it's like, wait, what? And then obviously she experienced so much like Islamophobia from her teachers, from other people, not the Muslim people, they weren't Muslim, the French people in it. And then she experienced so much in those 6 months. It's like she literally got depressed afterwards. She wanted to leave so bad. I remember one of my other friends from university, right? So he came to UK for university, so he lives in France. That's where he's from, yeah. And I think he's like Tammy's friend, for example, because he looks European in it. You know, like if you look at him, he looks white. So he hasn't experienced that much Islamophobia because of how he looks. And obviously as a guy you don't need to wear hijab or anything, so you can wear normal clothes. But even he told me, he's like, bro, like he told me how amazing it is in the UK, you know, because all he's ever experienced was France, yeah. So he told me like, yo, in the UK, like you can actually pray and stuff. Like this is mad, this is crazy. And I'm like, wait, what? You can't pray in France? They're like, no, unless you're like inside your home, inside your room, or at the mosque. And even there's issues with the mosque now, innit, as you've heard. So it's like, bro, like, like, what the hell's going on, man? It's actually really, really peak. And I feel like France in itself needs to, like, the people in France need to, like, take charge, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we talk about democracy in it, and the reality is democracy isn't truly applied everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, in these countries that they talk, that they speak about, like, you know, they're all about democracy. Democracy isn't truly applied. You know, the reason why, like, let's say in the UK, right? UK, like, a lot of the laws and stuff, and like the rights of people in it actually defends Muslims, yeah? You know, that's why, like, let's say if you have a hate crime or something, right? The police appropriately deals with it. Hate crimes, yeah? They appropriately deal with it. There's been plenty of cases like that. I'm talking about recently, yeah? The reason why the government is sort of, like, you could say, for Muslims in the UK is because, like, yo, if the government tries to be Islamophobic, then guess what? The UK people will they will be they will sort of, what do you call it, like, they will put them to account. Yeah, they'll back us. They'll put them to account for that. You know, they'll call out against that. You know, and the government knows that. That's why they don't. Right? That's why they truly try and be fair. You know,
and you can actually see that, bro, in a lot of cases. In, like, previously, for example, the stop occupation of Palestine. I think that was one. Right? Stop helping, like, occupy Palestine. That was one, I think. Stop the war in Yemen or something like that, or stop supplying weapons to fight in Yemen or something like that. So there were big riots of these types. Well, they weren't riots, sorry, they were protests, right?
Yeah.
Big protests of these types a couple of months back. I think this year, actually, or maybe last year. And in that crowd, you could see there was a lot of, like, non-Muslims, right? And there was a lot of them protesting alongside the Muslims, alongside the hijabis, etc., etc. But at the same time, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, there were another event as well, was the Uyghur one, right? So there were Uyghur protests going out in around in London, I think. I think it was London, and same thing there as well. Like, non-Muslims, Muslims together. They were protesting.
There are protests quite everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah. So it just shows, like, the British people, and majority of the British people have a very good opinion about, you know, us.
100%.
Yeah,
like,
the difference is, though, we have the freedom to do so without any chance of repercussion or consequence.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like Muhammad said, we live in a pretty free country, and, you know, it's very easy to practice.
Yeah, like, democracy is actually applied here.
Yeah, well, for the most part.
yeah.
So
well, more so than in other places.
Yeah. Whereas in other countries, the risks are so much higher for any individual that would do the same thing. Like, even if crowds gather, we don't know what kind of lengths they'd go to suppress crowds, you know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, here, we know we can protest peacefully and do whatever, and we won't get shot by the police or something.
Yeah,
true.
But anywhere else, like, even in America, they still get, you know.
Yeah, I mean, they were even protesting, like, against Islamophobia. They were protesting for Black Lives Matter, and they still got shot at. So,
yeah.
Imagine protesting for actual equal rights and then still getting shut down by.
But you know what? Like, why do you think that difference exists? You know, like, because obviously, like, when we talk about culture, Western culture, as we, like, normally we refer to a lot of things as Western culture, in it, right? That's something that we refer to as pretty much all of Europe and America and certain other places. Why is the UK so different than any of these other places, especially America? Why?
I think, you know what, it's to do with the fact that the government, I think here, I'm not sure if this is true, this is just my, like, kind of, you know, guess at it.
Your theory,
but I think here, my theory, I think the government knows that this country is supported a lot by Muslims, right? Especially in the major industries that matter, especially in medical, in medicine, and especially in retail, right? These two industries, they are massive economic boost to the UK economy, right? If you look, bro, my brother was mentioning this, right? He lives in Oxford, right, my brother? So if you go to Oxford, yeah, all you're gonna see is pretty much, like, white people in the surrounding areas. It's just kind of middle class white people. That's pretty much who it is, right? There's a few Muslims here and there, but mostly it's a few Asians here and there, sorry, but there's mostly middle class white people. If you go to Oxford's hospital, you're gonna see a lot of Muslims there. Yeah, there's a lot of doctors there that are Muslim. So the UK government and the public know that if they alienate all these kind of this entire community, number one, they're gonna lose a lot of businesses, right, and a massive decrease. Like, how many corner shops, bro, are in like areas like Longsight, fam? Like,
trust
me. Around
like,
every corner.
The thing, like, why people love our food.
They love our food, like, and they'll it actively contributes to their enjoyment as well, right? And at the same time, if you alienated the Muslim community, how many Muslim doctors are going to be like, bro, we're not standing for this?
100%.
And they'll just go on strike. And the entire
topic, but did you see that video where Boris Johnson was like speaking? He was saying cover samosa, gulab jamun, and stuff like that. We said it.
Nah, that's like,
he's talking about whatever, I don't know, innit?
Right.
And he's like, so sit with your family, have a samosa and some gulab jamun. You know how he speaks.
Bro, the flipping, who was it? The health secretary said, inshallah, innit, a few days ago.
No way.
And he was talking about some like news report asked him, will we have Christmas carols this year? And he was like, inshallah. It's like some radio thing.
All right.
And people were like confused, didn't it? We're like, okay, did he say inshallah because he's like mocking, or did he say inshallah because like he's confused about Christianity and Islam, or did he say inshallah as like the Arabs say it, and like the Asians say it.
You say in so many medicals are Muslims, bro, like freaking, it's because like every parent wants their kids to be a doctor and engineer. So the amount of Muslims that become doctors in it, there's a lot in our industries. From that, it actually got me thinking, from what Saad said, in terms of the difference between the two. I think one of the differences, the main one would probably, and again I'm not 100% sure, would probably be opportunity. So here's the thing about, like, obviously in the UK, a lot of us are second generation Muslims here, right? And a very few are third generation, because it's relatively recent that so many Muslims migrated to said countries. And it's the same in America. Maybe like Muslims migrated to America a bit earlier than in the UK, but relatively the same in it throughout. So obviously, like, being a migrant, you have lower opportunities, and and because of that, obviously you'll be in the lower income bracket, Now, if you think about it, in the UK, we're really blessed because higher education, right, at university, is something that everyone can get, because you get student loans, like, but university is still expensive. It's like 9.25k every year, but you get student loans, and it's guaranteed student loans. Like, people that are outside of UK listening to this, you have no idea how easy it is to get a student loan. It is pretty much guaranteed for you. Like, you'll get it like that. You don't even see the money. You don't even see the money. They don't even consider it. All you do is like, I'm applying to a university. You get a student loan with that automatically. It's pretty much automatic, So it's so easy to get that. And then on top of that, you get a maintenance loan as well, maintenance loan. You get that, and then obviously if you're from a lower income bracket, you get even more money for your maintenance loan. You get up to $8,000, I think 8.3 grand or something a year for maintenance. And that's amazing. And if you think about it, in other countries like America, for example, when you go off to university, college, as they say, you know how firstly the loans are even more expensive over there.
Really.
Secondly, they get loans, but they don't get loans like we do. Firstly, for them, loans is something they have to apply for, and then they might get it. It's not they're guaranteed to get it.
And they get a lot of interest on it.
They get a lot of interest on them, and it's really difficult for them. They'll have to actually pay off loans. For us, firstly, loans, right? obviously, like, you know, you can talk about interest being haram, halal. Interest is haram in it, but like obviously people talk about it like with student loans, are they halal or haram in it. We're not going to talk about that here in it, but if you think about it, yeah, interest rates are very low for student loans in it, and the way interest is set up, or the way the loan payments are set up, the UK, I think they're changing the name of it to student tax, because it's a percentage of your income that gets taken away from you, and you have to earn over like 23k, I think it was, or 25k a year for the loan to even be applied. And then I think it was after 30 years, or if you die, it gets wiped. Like, it is actually very easy for you, right? And it's essentially like, obviously if you're earning enough, right, if you qualify for the loan to be paid back, then it's only a taxes upon your income. Yeah, it's only a taxes of your income. That's why so many people, right, I'd say like probably 99% of people, students, never even pay their loans back in it. You know, they just do the taxes thing because it's so cheap. Obviously that, you don't have that in America, for example, yeah? Over there it's so difficult to pay loans back. And not even that, like, the people, they can't even get full loans. Like, they don't get full loans to cover everything. And some people don't get any loans, yeah? So they have to work like 2-3 jobs on the side whilst they're studying, right? Now, if you think about it, for people that migrate to over there, firstly, they themselves forget about them going to university. That's never going to happen, right? What about their kids? Their kids most likely would not even be able to go university either, right? It would be very difficult because their parents are working. Their parents can't afford to send them to college, yeah? So they won't even be able to afford it. And let's say they can get a loan, right? They won't be able to get the full loan. They'll still have to pay, right? And they'll have to get jobs on the side. But then how are they going to get jobs at the side when they need to look after their siblings, for example, because their parents are working 2-3 jobs, you know? So it's really difficult for them to get jobs.
If anyone, by the way, listening to this wants to know, or if you do want to know, there's a very good video on how messed up the student loan system in America is, and it's by Hassan Minhaj, a comedian, ironically.
Comedians are usually the most woke.
In it, bro, it tells you a lot when comedians make more sense than politicians do.
100%.
But anyway, Hassan Minhaj, he did a video on this as part of his Netflix series. It's free to watch online as well on the YouTube channel. It's called Patriot Act, and the episode is called something like student loan debt, or something like that. You'll find it came out either this year or last year. And it's very good video, very detailed analysis, and they even go through the student loan companies, because there's like 4 or 5 different student loan companies or something that can give you loans and that you can apply for, and they go through each of their policies, and they go through statistics of like how many people, and like, you know, the people, what race they were, what, you know, identity they were, etc. So. And
by the way, in the UK, the loans are given out by the government itself. Yeah, that's the difference. It's not a company. It's basically the difference between public sector service and a private sector service. Yeah. Like if the NHS was private, how much more expensive would it get? You know, it's very logical in that sense. Sorry, Tamid, you were saying?
Nah, I was gonna say, so it's kind of off topic, but kind of similar. So my sister showed me this, like kind of like this quote, not a quote, but you know, like when someone makes a statement about something and you're like, whoa. So yeah, she showed me, and it was saying that. So you know laws, you know laws that are only penalized by paying a fine. It was saying that laws such as those, like any crime that is only punishable by a fine, is a law that only exists to lower class people.
True.
And when you think, so it's not actually a crime for the upper class, because a fine would be nothing to them, innit?
100%.
If you're rich, money is nothing.
Money is nothing.
You're getting richer and richer. That's just how the world works. So any crime that's punishable by a fine will only be a law to the lower class people, because they're the only ones who would find it difficult to pay.
Yeah.
And so technically, it gives people in the upper class more leeway.
Yeah. And then on top of that, there's also privilege involved. You know, exactly. Like, let's not lie, man. Obviously, someone from a lower income bracket would be treated differently, you know, because the government knows, The government knows that this white person, you know, that lives in this area is making a lot of money and is benefiting the economy more, than someone from a lower class family. And this can be seen, you know, like here in Manchester, for example, right? It wasn't too long ago, maybe 2-3 years back, where someone from Manchester Grammar School, so Manchester Grammar School is a place where, you know, is quite expensive, and it's a rich place, right? But some people can get in through scholarships and stuff like that, you know? And basically over there was this white kid who essentially stabbed and killed a brown kid over there, one of his classmates. Now obviously, like, there were things like, you know, the brown kid was like involved in drug dealing and stuff like this, and so was the white kid, by the way. They were both like involved with like bad things, but still is murder, right? Cold-blooded murder. The white kid killed the brown kid, and what happened after that? The white kid never went prison for it.
He got off scot-free.
He got off scot-free.
He didn't even go to juvenile prison.
He didn't go juvenile prison, nothing. He got off free. Why? Why do you think that is?
Because he got bought. He's rich.
Yeah, because his family's rich. That's it. Like, imagine this. With money, you can get away with murder, bro. Murder. You can get away with murder. Like, that's how crazy it is. You know, and we sit here and we talk about equality and equal rights, and it's not equal rights, you know. And money is literally what the world goes around on, you know. And money is enough. If you have enough money, you are literally above the law. You know, you've heard that many times, innit? If you have enough money, you can be above the law, and it's mad, you know. And going back to like what I was saying with America in terms of opportunities, just to finish that point off, over there, because like for lower class income families, it is difficult to go to university. How difficult is it, do you think, for them to get high earning jobs? Very difficult, So for lower class income families, for them to go up the bracket, is really difficult. And now here's the thing, like Saad mentioned, a difference between America and the UK, for example, is that there are people in the UK more and more, and I'm talking about recently, more and more people are occupying jobs, higher class jobs in the UK, right? They're occupying, you could say, higher society. And because of that, people are treating them more seriously. That's just how it is, right? The more economic benefit you bring, the more serious you are treated in society, And it's not just doctors, engineers as well, architects, etc. You know, Muslims are slowly even getting into media, for example, you know. And inshallah, that's something that I want to see more of. Like, if more people get in media, because that is the outlet for so many people, like it would bring a massive benefit for us, Now, you see that in America, that's not the case. Why? It's because they can't even get that. They don't even have the opportunity to get that, you know. And because of they don't have that, they're not treated as seriously by the government, by higher society. Essentially, higher society is what controls most of society, innit? You know, like how much say does someone from low income family have? Realistically speaking, they don't have any. They don't have any say. The most they have is maybe a vote when they have elections. That's about it, you know. So like that's why I think damn, that's a mad point. I only thought about this, by the way, because of what Saad said. So really, it goes down to opportunity. You get opportunity in the UK, and because of opportunity, you get to occupy higher society, a higher income, and that's why the government treats you seriously. So it really goes down to money, really.
At the end, money makes the world go around.
Makes the world go around, true.
Sad one.
Like, that's the difference. Like, obviously, like, I went to France, I remember, for like a Europe trip with my family,
Oh yeah, that funny trip.
That
I spent like 2 hours in every country.
Yeah, man. I spent literally like a day in each country, man. It was so annoying. But yeah, anyways, I remember we went there, and this was we didn't go France, obviously. Imagine going there, but we went like Berlin and etc. And even in like these countries that we went to, like obviously like Germany and stuff, freaking there were basically no Muslims anyway, But in like Berlin, one thing we noticed was you know, the rich areas, the cleaner areas, the nicer areas, there were no Muslims there. The dirty, poor areas, right? You know, the poorest areas, that's where all the Muslims lived. That's where all the Muslims lived. And it just goes to show. It goes to show, innit? You know? And I guess that's the reality of things. Now, alhamdulillah, like in the UK, it's different.
Yeah,
like,
it's because the UK's progressed so much.
Yeah.
You know, Muslims in every sector. Because when I'm in uni as well, or when anyone's in uni, whenever you see someone studying medicine, a lot of the time they're Asian or Muslim or something similar, innit?
Yeah.
Like, and a lot of even like in business, medicine, all those sectors are just dominated by Muslims or Asians in general.
100%, man.
So that's the only reason we're so ahead, I guess.
Yeah, and it goes to show.
These countries, it's not the same.
It goes to show, like, for us as well, innit? From our side, you know, for us Muslims, we complain about Islamophobia, we complain about equal rights and all of this stuff, but then at the same time, a lot of us advocate that, we need to be focusing on praying 5 times a day. It's all about the akhirah. It's not about the dunya. It's not about money. Like, especially like, I know so many people like in our communities, like if you try and be successful or if you try and get more money, right, you're looked down upon as someone who's a materialist, someone who's all about the dunya and stuff, right? And so this sort of mentality is something that sort of demotivates people to pursue higher income jobs, and I guess that is something that is like, listen, like, if you're complaining about Islamophobia, right, the real way to solve it, like we just mentioned throughout this discussion, real way to solve it is for Muslims to occupy higher end jobs. That's honestly, like, you know, we're not talking about
especially politically.
We're not talking about what should be the way, what's the right way. Like, everybody wants to be able to like sign a petition and everything will be solved. But the reality is, the way that we solve Islamophobia is by having Muslims in higher income jobs, so that we're taken more seriously. Have
true.
Muslims
and
in politics.
Just to add to this, this person's not in politics, but he is in like news media. I don't know if you heard of him, Dilly Hussain from 5 Pillars UK. So 5 Pillars is a news site, but we're not sponsored by them anything. But,
I mean, they know that because me and Dama don't even know about this.
But basically, 5 Pillars, it's quite a good news site actually. I knew about it a while back, but I occasionally check it, like not a lot, but sometimes check it. But Dilly is saying, the guy that the main editor for it, I think, he's very smart. He's a very smart guy, mashallah. And he was on I think he was on a podcast with Mohammed Hijab as well. But he's very smart, like politically. He knows the UK situation, he knows America's situation, he knows all these isms and ideologies, etc. Right? So he's very smart, mashallah. And basically, he's the main editor of 5 Pillars UK. 5 Pillars UK, in a nutshell, is basically like any news media, but they're independent and they focus more on like the Muslim narrative, right? So they'll I've noticed a lot of their stories are something that Sky or BBC or ITV, they won't even mention, bro. Like, not at all. Like, nowhere on their front page, nowhere on their secondary page. It's not mentioned at all. And some so they cover normal news as well.
Yeah.
You know, like COVID news and normal politics news, like, you know, this minister did this, or this law is being passed, or normal economic, all the normal news that you would normally get from BBC, right, and stuff like that. Instead, sometimes you get a bit of garbage with the BBC and ITV, where it's like, you know, like celebrity has like third kid or whatever. It's a bit like this. It's a bit like the Sun.
Look what Kylie Jenner watched.
It's like BBC. BBC's
kind of. She breathed air today.
Bro, part of the BBC I'm not gonna lie, has turned a bit into like the Daily Mail or the Sun. It's a bit cringe. But 5 Pillars, they basically give you all that normal stuff, alongside the Muslim narrative and alongside Muslim community information as well. So be like, mosque in such and such area is almost built and requires £10,000 more to finish, or something like that, right?
That's sick.
So I think a lot of, if you listen to this, I think definitely check out 5 Pillars for your news sources.
Yeah.
And obviously with reading any news source, they're not gonna have 100% of the information. Yeah, that's just not possible.
You know what's smart, bro? You know what's smart? I've never even heard of 5 pillars until Saad just mentioned it just now.
Yeah.
Like, imagine, like, that's how little publicity they have.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
And
this guy, bro, this guy's just cut you off.
No, it's
this guy's gone on, like, publicly. Dilly Hussain is gone on publicly on BBC, on ITV, and like these big shows. I think he's gone on Andrew Marr as well, which is known to be a bit like kind of aggressive, right? Not against like Muslims in general, but just like in terms of their interviewing style is a bit aggressive, I think. And he's gone on to all these shows and he's publicly defended Muslims on the public air, but no one knows this. There's a few clips of him here and there, but no one really knows about this thing. And I was just going to mention a point from before. I'm not saying 5 pillars is the like holy grail of news sites. Like that's the only place you should check for your news, right? Yeah. I mean, it's a good site, but I'm not saying only go to there for your news, right?
Yeah, of course.
It actually helps to cross-reference other things with BBC,
yeah.
cross-reference Guardian, Independent, etc. Right? But what I'm saying is we need to help support. Like, you know, they ask for donations, they ask for like sharing and stuff like. It takes like 2 seconds to share an article. So it helps these sites gain a bit more traction, and you guys didn't know about this, so you know it just shows how like Mo said, like how
definitely we're gonna have links in the description for this one, by the way. Everyone, make sure you check it out, click on it.
Definitely.
Not sponsored, by the way.
We're not sponsored. Yeah, exactly.
Daily Hussain sponsor us if you listen to
man.
this.
yeah, if you want it, bro. Like, honestly, like if you want to jump on the podcast, jump on. Like, bro, you know, from what Asad said in it about media, look, why is it that Muslims aren't represented on media, bro? It's because there's no Muslims in media, bro. You know, like if you think about it, in our communities, right, getting a job in media or something, is looked down upon, isn't it? Yeah. Like literally, realistically speaking, like unless you go for a proper profession like being a doctor or an engineer, like you're looked down upon, bro. Yeah. That's why you don't see Muslims going into media and you don't see Muslims going into politics, bro. You know, another thing in our community is everyone's against politics for some reason, bro. You know, it's like, oh yeah, you shouldn't be thinking too much about politics. You know, you shouldn't be thinking too much about what Boris Johnson said last week. Like, fam, wait, we live in this world and you don't want us to know about what's going on in this world. Like, why? Now, don't worry, because only Allah should know about what's going on in this world. What would you mean? Like, you know,
there's people that say voting is shirk.
Oh, trust man, the voting shirk. But I guess that's sort of the minor, like
shirk,
the minority in it.
Nah, I've heard people that say, do you know when around alongside when you
bro, you see people say
shirk. I've heard voting is bid'ah, but I've not heard voting is shirk. That's mad, bro.
Nah, bare people I've met bare people. I know bare people that say that. Not bare people.
Bro, how many like loopholes in your mind you have to go through to get to that conclusion? I don't get it.
Bro, I don't remember what the logic was behind it, but I think it was something.
There is no logic.
Obviously there's none in it, but I think it was something around like if you vote for it was about like, oh, a human being shouldn't make the laws. Only Allah can make laws, which obviously like in Islam you got Sharia law, which is decided by Allah, but technically is technically the imams and stuff, like the shaykh and stuff, who actually like they make the laws that fit current society in it. But whatever, for these for some reason only Allah can make laws in it. And if you vote for a human being, you're voting for a human being who dictates the laws or something like that. I think it was something around that in it. Weird stuff, man. It's weird, man. It's weird. It doesn't make sense. But again, I think that's the minority still. But even like with the majority of Muslim, I'd say like politics is looked down upon. Media is looked down upon. It makes sense. It makes sense, honestly. It makes sense why it makes sense why, like, let's say BBC is looked down upon. Like, if you work at BBC, is because BBC was so negative to Muslims. But then how do you expect them to ever be positive if there's no Muslims in BBC, for example? You know, I remember like do you remember, like, I think it was, I don't know what movie, I think it was Cuties or something, like when that was released on Netflix, like obviously there was the pedophilia side, which is just whatever, man. It's you know it's horrible, innit? We spoke about that in our video. So check that out. Description down in the description, probably, if we remember to do it, add it. But you know, like when the Curious video came out, obviously there was a lot of Islamophobia within it, yeah. And you know, generally speaking, like in Netflix, like you'll find certain movies, certain things. You know, I can't remember. There was like another one again from France, I think it was, where it was also very Islamophobic. I can't remember what it was called, but it was like a series. But yeah, you know, because of this, people are like, oh yeah, you know, as Muslims we should ban Netflix, you know, we should do this, we should do that. I think some people are like, oh yeah, make halal flicks, make a Netflix flicks. yeah make a Netflix just for Muslims, with Muslim movies only. Yeah,
that'd be a shout, bro.
That would be a shout. But if you think about, like, bro, let's be realistic here. If you think about it, yo, why are we always talking about banning this and going in like starting from scratch ourselves? Why don't we add why aren't Muslims making movies for Netflix?
Yeah, why aren't they part of it?
Yeah, why aren't they a part of it? Why don't they put it? Like, Netflix is a platform. If we get ourselves on there, yeah, then how much more effective do you think that would be?
I mean, that's the attitude. It's perfect. All right, what did you say? Sorry, did you say anything?
I just cut out for a second.
Oh,
okay. Yeah.
Damn, like, this is surprising, bro. I'm the one that normally cuts out it. Sorry, son.
Whoa. I thought it was Mo. That's why I was like, yo, son. And then I was like, okay.
Oh, damn, it's me.
Echoing what Mo's saying, right? Is that you need to fight on both battlegrounds, right? So you need to fight on the level of well, let's start from scratch. Sorry, I can't get my words out today. Let's start from scratch, like you said. But we also need to fight on the level of this thing is already established and it's very popular, right? Let's join in and influence a bit and see if we can make any change, at least a minor change for the Muslims, right? Even if even if it's a small change, it's still something, because of the effect it can have in terms of it spiraling from one thing to another. It could be very big in the next 5 years or 10 years or 20 years or whatever. So you need to find. So the Muslims need to go in both directions. Yeah, if you're for example, if you're like a game developer, yeah, and you're thinking, I want to design game. I give game developers because it's kind of like something I know already. Not in terms of game developing, but in terms of like a bit about the industry, right? So if you're a Muslim that wants to become a game developer, you want to develop games. There's two options you can go, and both are should be considered. A lot of developers, what they say, I don't want to join no big company, bro. They're too much work, too much effort. I'm going to work long hours. They're going to pay me little, blah blah. I'm going to design my own game. I'll make my own game. I'll be a Muslim game. I'll be this. I'll be that. Have this design that. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. But think about the impact total. Yeah. That studio, Ubisoft, Rockstar, whoever, right? These guys are big studios. They have a lot of money. They have a lot of backing behind them. Yeah. If you join them as a developer, you can, with their permission, insert small things in there and give them advice. Maybe get to a senior position. Maybe you can say, oh, this character doesn't, this character's Muslim, but he doesn't really fit in with the idea of a Muslim, right? Yeah. Or this background or this scenery. It's supposed to be Iraq, but it's like war torn and this, but it's been like 10 years since the Iraq war, whatever. Yeah. So it doesn't look like this anymore. Or this is Malaysia, but why does this look so like
hey,
weird?
By the way,
it has like massive
Muslims
skyscrapers.
Aren't always the enemy.
Yeah, Muslims aren't always the enemy.
Anytime they show an Asian country in the movie, there's always this massive yellow filter on the camera.
Yeah. Oh, broken down cars, explosions. Yeah. Shrapnel everywhere, glass everywhere. So Muhammad's. I mean, he hit it like right perfectly. He said it perfectly. He's like, you need to go both ways. You can't just go like, oh yeah, I'll just go for the top position straight away, because that's not gonna happen. And you can't just be like, oh, I'll just go for like myself. I'll just go lone wolf, because that's not realistic.
100%, man. Like I think about it like, bro, like what Saad said. What truly is it? It's simply the idea of representation. Yeah. That we lack. You think about it, for example, Jews, yeah? even
Yeah.
today, because I'm not really going to give the example of Christianity, because we kind of know how Christianity is in it right now. Like, people don't really practice it, you know.
Yeah.
But if you talk about Judaism, right, a lot of Jews are very conservative. A lot of Jews are conservative, yeah. But why is it that Jews never get attacked? It's not like Jews have not been involved in crime. They've been involved in crime, yeah. Why have they never been attacked? It is because in a lot of things, like in politics, for example, in business, etc., there is Jewish representation because there are Jews in these industries, high up in these industries. And here's the thing, like, you can be a Jew in the industry and not say a word, but then guess what? Your representation is still going to be considered because you're there, you're present.
Yeah, but by the way, Mo's not trying to say, oh, Jews control the entire world, you know.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're controlling the entire world. Yeah.
I mean,
Like-
what I'm trying to say is we're not conspiracy theorists.
An
innit?
example, as Jews tend to be very conservative in it. That's why.
Yeah.
Like, if you think about it,
we're
Jews
not
and
conspiracy
Muslims
theorists,
are
is what I'm trying to say.
very similar in a sense, but the treatment is very different. Yeah, and that's the reason
Yeah,
why.
exactly. They have representation as well.
They have representation. They're there. Like, to be honest, I'm freaking commending Jews, bro, because they put themselves there in it.
Yeah.
Like, and we're not doing that. You know,
We're not doing that. It's very true.
Watched it, mate.
and that's the thing. We need representation, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie, man. Like right now,
Splashed it.
That was just like splashed it. Like, bro, I'm not gonna lie. Like, if I was, like, let's say, if I went back in time, like before college or something, yeah, bro, I'd probably go into politics instead. Like, that's what I would have done. Like, yeah, there might have not been as much money in it or whatever in it, yeah, but I'd have a bigger impact in it. We always think about money, bro. We always think about what's making us the most money. Like, we did say during this podcast, like, higher income is very effective. Like, yes, but more effectively is if you were in politics, if you were in media, that's more effective because that's the outlet for a lot of things, you know. Well, why politics? Because they're the ones that build the policies. You know, it's very simple. Why media? Yo, trust, man, this is some brain mashing thing, bro.
I mean, another.
bash
If
me, bro.
I agree with you, politics. I think I would really like to go into law, because law is another place where you can make a lot of changes. You know, like, you know, if you get to the level of a barrister or a judge, or like a defense lawyer, right? Anyone like that, you know, you could be involved in a lot of cases where someone looks plainly guilty, right, and the evidence is stacked against him, but you know, you might find that one small piece of evidence or one law, like a rule, that says or loophole that says no, listen, like, this can't, this is not the final conclusion, like, this can still go, you know, like Suits. Have you guys seen Suits?
Yeah.
You know, like in Suits, bro, they find
Suits
that like
is
one
sick.
thing
Such a
that
sick
clicks
show,
every
man.
episode. It's like the same formula, right? It's like this thing's happening, oh, it's going good for a while, then it's really bad, then this one thing clicks and it's fixed. So it's like you could find that one thing that clicks the entire thing together, and you know, save someone potentially from-
100%. You know, there's a reason why lawyers get paid a lot. Is because they're the reason why a defense can win or a prosecutor can win.
Yeah.
You know, especially
True.
prosecutor. Let's say someone does something against a Muslim, bro, the other person is probably gonna have the maddest defense, and the Muslim can't even afford a good prosecutor. The government gives someone for free, innit? Who do you think is gonna, like? Yeah, they're probably not even gonna take it that seriously, you know. And you know what's mad though? You talk about lawyer, yeah. I've met Muslims, bro, like Muslim parents and stuff in it, who say that, I'm never gonna let my kid do law.
Really?
You know why? You know what the reason they give is? They're like, because lawyers are bad, lawyers
They're
are
corrupt.
evil in it. They're corrupt, so I can't let my kid be a lawyer, and that's why they don't let them get into law. Again, it goes back to the mentality we spoke about before, innit? It's like, bro, this is corrupt. So you know what? I'm gonna be 10 feet away from them. But guess what? They are what's controlling the society. So what are you gonna do about it? You know, like be involved in it. You know, obviously don't be corrupt yourself.
Can we wrap up in like 5 minutes? Sorry.
Yeah, no worries, man. No worries.
Sorry, I cut you off. My bad.
No worries. But yeah, I guess like, and that's the thing, and it's like, bro, you need to look at things realistically. And again, like, does Islam prevent us from doing these things? No, of course not. As a Muslim, right, we're meant to be the best in this life and the next. That doesn't, it doesn't mean that we need to pray, we need to stay in the mosque 24/7. No. The better Muslim isn't the one that stays in the mosque 24/7. It's the one that actually benefits society, represents Islam. Like, how the hell are we meant to spread Islam, right? If we never even meet non-Muslims, right? If you think about it, bro, if I'm staying in a mosque 24/7, how am I going to meet a white person? I'm not going to meet one. It's people in the places you meet them is the workplace and etc., right? And that's the thing, isn't it? And as a Muslim, it's encouraged for us to do this, to go out there, to deal with it. Do you think the Muslims of the past never dealt with non-Muslims before?
Yeah.
No,
or
they
didn't take charge politically, or they didn't, fight for justice, etc.
Exactly. Like, they were always there. They were in the front lines, bro. Front lines. Yeah, but we're not doing that. And we need, as an ummah, we need to change that mentality.
Yeah.
And I guess it starts with this, innit? It starts with this. With this and our kids. Instead of like always being like, yo, now my son needs to be a hafiz and needs to be a doctor. Like, yo, these are great things, innit? But what about the one that's going to go into media? What about the one that's going to go into politics? What about the one that's going to go into law? Like, you can't just disregard it. I remember, like, yo, because I'm doing accounting and finance, innit?
Yeah.
I remember when I told one of my aunties, when I told her that I'm doing accounting and finance, innit? You know what she said to me?
What?
She goes like, nah, you can't do it because accountants, they cheat. So it's haram, you can't be doing this. Like, bro, this is how they're like, bro. But then I can go on about how much benefit you are into society when you're in the financial area, because again, finance goes back to money, innit? And money, like I said, like we say, money runs society, bro.
And sometimes it's the complete opposite as well, bro. When the parents will be like, so they'll have more than one kid, right? Maybe they have like 2 kids, and one of them will be really smart, and the other one won't be as smart. He or she will still be a bit smart, but not to like medicine or whatever level engineering, high level engineering level, whatever, right? And they'll be like, all right, so this kid is gonna go like the Islamic route, right? Just let him be a scholar or whatever. But it's like so you said one thing, which is parents try to push towards the Islamic position and say, right, just be chill, learn your religion, etc., just be like a full like sheikh, don't bother into any of this like normal work routine. And on the other hand, you have the other extreme, which is no, stick only to the work routine, and if you fail at that, then go into Islam. Which is like, bro, what is that? Like, just because you fail at something, or just because you're not smart to get to that high level, there's many other avenues. Like we've already mentioned, you can go into media, you can go into like, there's easier ways to get into law now. You can do a foundation year, It might take a bit longer, but you can still get into that pathway. So your parents shouldn't just give up and say, right now, this kid's dumb, so we'll just make him do the sheikh route. Yeah,
you have politicians that never even did law, for example, or politics.
That's true.
And think about it, man. And I guess since we're wrapping up, the last point I want to make, and this point really summarizes a lot of the things we mentioned, is the idea of like, yo, listen, stop being selfish. We talk about our selflessness, blah blah blah, so much. Reality is, where the most selfish people go in.
True.
What's the reason why parents always want their kids to be doctors and never go into media? Bro, it's because of money, bro. That's it. They want their kids to be as well off as possible, bro. You look at Muslim businesses, they're always about, yo, I need to grab as much money as possible. Doesn't matter about anyone else. And we built this mentality within ourselves that is always about me, right? I can push whoever else off as long as I'm being successful. And that's like, we talk about the ummah failing. Obviously the ummah is failing when it's always about you,
or
you
your
don't
legacy.
care about you and your legacy, you and your family. That's it. That's all that matters. And obviously, like, yo, if I have this mentality, right, and a lot of our parents do, bro, they would never accept one of their kids going into media. They would never accept that, never, because that's not the maximum benefit for them on a financial level, or on a, you know, the whole like status level within their community that no one freaking cares about. You know, and that selfishness,
100%.
we need to take that away, bro. That needs to be gone. We need to start, like, when we talk about careers, like, it makes sense, bro, for our parents in it who migrated to the country. They don't have any money. It makes sense for them trying to make money for themselves, but alhamdulillah, we're in a position where we don't need to worry about it as much. Like, definitely, like, money is important, but in any career path you go, as long as you're successful in it, you'll get money. That's not a problem. You know, you might not be a millionaire for any career path, but you'll get money, and it's not always about being a millionaire here. The thing that we need to start thinking about when it comes to careers, and when it comes to our kids' careers as well, you need to start thinking about, okay, what sort of benefit can they bring to society?
And to Islam and to Muslims.
And to Islam and to Muslims. Like, bro, so many people that study medicine, right? Bro, you'd be surprised, how many of them actually study it because they want to help people or save lives? Nah, man, they study because their dad told them to. Why did the dad want them to be a doctor? You know, sometimes I hear, like, someone said, like, oh, yeah, if my son becomes a doctor, then if I get really ill, my son can save me. These excuses are so, like, they're lies, firstly, excuses, right? They're not real. The real reason is because, bro, that's what brings status to their homes. That's it. That's what.
They want to be able to tell people.
They want to be able to tell people. Like, bro, I've heard it, bro. My parents say it sometimes as well, innit? They're like, man, why can't you do something so I can tell my friends about it? They say that, man. That's all it's about.
They legit say that.
And it's so selfish, bro. And honestly, that's one thing we need to get rid of, is that selfishness. And it's so un-Islamic as well. I don't know where the hell it came from. You get me? Like,
Culture,
it makes sense. It's a bit of a survival instinct. But come on, man. Like, we'll never move forward if we're like this. Never. And that's it.
True. I agree 100%.
That's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I found it really beneficial, actually. Like, we came to some mad conclusions in today's episode, alhamdulillah, you know. But so hope you guys enjoyed it. Please do share this episode with your friends and your family, and please do subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow us on Spotify, wherever else, follow us on Instagram, try and support us the best you can. With that said, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum assalam wa
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.